Welcome back. On Monday, MP Denise Phua proposed that the government consider starting a small number of schools which do away with early exams like the PSLE and streaming. Now, some parents that we spoke to say it could be worth a shot, but not everyone is buying the idea just yet.
If you don't, there's no PSLE or streaming, how will you evaluate your children?
For me, it's a good idea, you see. It would be so stressful for the children, you see.
The smarter students or the faster, quicker ones may get bored, and the ones that lag behind may feel discouraged. So it's a tricky question.
For children who are late bloomers, that would really help. You don't have this kind of separatist, elitist thing so early. You don't brand the children so early, and yeah, I think it's brilliant. So would you?
So the new 10-year school program would mean no high-stakes exams for students in their early school life, but it's also led some to question if this sort of system will produce students who can't do well in tests.
You have a 10-year or 12-year runway to properly prepare a child for university and for further education. Then you can make best use of the time. If a lot of that time is spent preparing the child for exams, then I think you give up on some other parts of his education.
Oh, the proposal has got a lot of you talking online, so here's what some of you have said about it. Melissa thinks it's a good idea. She feels that everyone should be given an equal chance to do well in school. Now, this one from Yuva Rajan thinks that there's no harm in trying a different system. She thinks that students under our current one tend to be under a lot of pressure. Leonard here, though, not so sure because he thinks the problem isn't always the system. He thinks parents sometimes give their children too much pressure to do well and to succeed. And one more from this person who thinks the proposal is worth a shot, especially if it means that we're nurturing better, smarter and more creative people in our children. And to discuss the issue is MP Denise Phua, who brought up the idea on Monday in Parliament. So Denise, glad to have you in studio with us. A very bold idea that you've brought up. At first glance, looks familiar, looks like the Finnish model. What's the basis for your proposal?
Well, I think there is probably one similar feature with the Finnish system, in that there is no ranking of schools, and there is also more inclusiveness in the classroom setting. But I think what we need to do is really to build a brand for Singapore itself, to address not just the hot buttons of today, like the tuition, the excessive stress on the academic performance, and also physically segregating people in different kinds of schools at a very young age, at 12 for instance. We also need to build a brand that also looks into the future, the future of the school, the workplace setting, the future of what educators should be, and the future in which students actually learn very differently from today.
Okay, the first thing perhaps that has to happen is that parents have to buy into this idea. So why are you so sure that this will appeal to Singaporeans?
I think one of the misperception is that this system, when I advocate no streaming or no PSLE, is actually a system that is no stress, no exams, and you can really cruise along until you reach your year 10. That's not what I'm advocating. And what I'm advocating is really there's no need for make and break exam at year 6, for instance, where you actually get streamed into a normal tech, normal academic express, where the streams where really the porosity is really not that easy to move, and this is really bad news for late bloomers. But at the same time, I do think it's necessary to make sure that there are also assessments and tests to make sure that actually the children would learn even better and have better education and including academic outcomes. There are two kinds of assessments. One is formative assessment, which is really giving you real time, real knowledge of where your gaps are, and to learn immediately and not to wait until the termly or semestral or final exams to know where you are. Right. So that's important. So that must carry on. And of course, there's a need for what we call summative, where at the end of it, you do need to know, at the end of 10 years of formal, you do need to know where you finally will go to, vocational or more academic. What parents really want are two things: success in the academics, plus also from all that we have heard, good character and values. Right. And so these are the two that must come in the system that I'm proposing.
But this will also require a very different breed of teachers. So give us an idea of what this person will be like and how you're going to attract the best minds to go into education.
I think educators of the future will be quite different from those of the past, and even some who are current now. Really, the lecture notes, repeating lecture notes of the yesteryears and PowerPoint slides are really, to me, very dated in this digital age. Yeah, and also teachers who say they only want to teach, they really need to reflect on what that means. I think teachers, educators of the future cannot just teach, but they really have, because there's just so much. Anybody can learn anything, anywhere, anytime in this digital age. So what teachers, educators need to do is really learn how to be good content curators, so that they can signpost, help our students really navigate through the many repositories of information that's on the internet, help them also not just and be not just people who teach in front of a class, what I call frontal instruction, but really teachers who can be good online educators, so that the good lectures, for example, or good lessons can be actually duplicated throughout the country. And the best teachers will be, be accessible to many. And then, of course, the weaker ones will have to, will be made redundant, But really, educators of the future are content curators. They are online trainers. They even be able to design programs that are blended, right. Not just online but also face to face. And I think there's also a role for a very important a need, which is to be the life coach for the students as well. I said at Parliament, Gandhi said that knowledge without character is really a sin and really a danger to human soul. And so basically, a lot of the teachers who prefer to play that role, or they might not even be NIE trained teachers. They could be teachers, educators who want to play that role and navigate and help our students cultivate better values for the future.
All right, thank you very much, Denise. Great hearing from you. Thank you for coming in today. And that was MP Denise Phua, who's proposing piloting a cluster of schools which do away with early exams and streaming in Singapore.